Hello and welcome back to Chance Encounters, everyone, for our next episode of First City. I'm wearing glasses today because sometimes I like to see things. Is there anything we want to say before we jump into the recap?
I'm ready to go to the library.
Oh, no.
That is true. You guys do have an appointment, maybe, if you choose to take it. So last time, the group arrived in the practice city, this area of the Champions campus of the Moonlight Academy that is essentially like a series of mock cities that have all these different hidden panels and training dummies that can simulate different situations that you might encounter in a city environment. So you met Pantheon there, or rather you went a little bit early to your appointment, and you instead met Prestige's team, who's just kind of finishing up their own session. You had some brief interactions with all of them, ending with another interaction with Teatro, your resident conspiracy theorist, who told you to meet him at sundown in the library if you wanted real answers about how everything is connected, something to that effect. Then Pantheon arrived and showed you a little satin bag that she said you had to go find somewhere in the city. Then she split off into her separate clones of herself, shot off in several different directions so as to maybe throw you off, and then left you to your own devices to go find this thing. As you continued on the mission, you guys started to notice more and more inconsistencies, Silhouette using audio devices, some of you just using your own willpower to kind of see through this strange facade that was happening. You encountered a scream and then a robot going rogue in a large building that was flying and shooting these bolts of energy. As things went on, you started to realize that this must be some sort of illusion. You were then ambushed by what seemed to be training dummies, who you all then realized were sort of robot illusion versions of Prestige's team that you had just met. And as soon as you all figured this out and stopped fighting and admitted out loud what was going on, the illusion faded, all of the destruction to the city faded, and the robots' illusions faded to be Prestige's team. And you all stood there as Prestige and Pantheon emerged from the shadows together to tell you that it was in fact a Prestige brand illusion to test your teamwork, your compatibility, your ability to communicate with each other, and your ability to resist psychic effects. There were a couple other lessons in there from Pantheon, but she didn't go into too much detail about it. I think maybe she was leaving some of that to your own interpretation, at least for the moment. As she flew off, leaving you guys to have a little discussion about your teamwork going forward and the potentiality of this team getting better and better, you walked off toward a lunch date with your friends, Fulcrum's team, your friends on Fulcrum's team. And as you walked away, you felt that strange sensation again of being watched in the back of your mind. And as you turned to see, there was no one there, and it may well have just been in your minds. And that is where we will pick up. So as you guys are walking across campus, away from the mock city, through into the courtyard, and then into the kind of mess hall area, the food court area, you guys approach. You go and you get all of your food from various places. I don't know if you guys are going to more of a restaurant, or are you guys just splitting off, getting your food and convening at a table?
I like the idea of like food court area, like before.
I think that feels like our vibe.
And this is a very big, it's not like a mall food court or a college food court. It's like this giant, I don't even know how to like really give a name to it. It's like a mall food court times 50 with all of these different little areas that kind of have the vibe of the different restaurants they're in, but this communal seating area at the same time. It would take quite a few minutes to really make the rounds and see everything that this place has to offer. So you all get your food and meet back up at a central location where you see Porter, Link, and Echo sitting down together, enjoying a meal. Porter sees you first. He looks up and he waves you guys over.
I wave back. Very happy to see them.
Okay. So you go and sit down with them, and Porter smiles at you through a mouthful of, I don't know, rice. Let's say he's eating rice. And he goes,
Only
"Oh,
rice.
you just eats a bowl
White
of rice."
rice.
I like that for him.
Just a giant bowl of white rice. Just like,
And he kind of, oh, he smiles. He goes, "How's your first day of training?"
interesting.
We had to have a little tussle with what we soon found out was Prestige's team in disguise, and that was bad, to say the least.
Bad is also a useful descriptive term for what we've experienced.
Yeah. I'm a little sore.
You see Link kind of rub their chin a little bit. They go, "That is very involved for a first day."
You're telling me. What are you guys doing for training?
Porter pipes up and he goes, "Well, for our first day, Fulcrum was much more focused on our sort of just basic communications of getting to know each other. Done a few exercises here and there, but it was largely sort of a team building psychological. We did some board games. It was interesting, but nothing, that interesting. I think the real physical stuff, she's sort of building us up to it. But, then again, we're not really, focused down for that sort of thing. I mean, we're on her team for a reason, right? We have different strengths, I would say."
You guys are building up from board games?
Echo just kind of rolls her eyes and she goes, "Apparently."
Oh, I mean, board games are really fun. But that's very different than what we've been experiencing so far.
Well,
day one.
But Silhouette, our primary objective was revealed to be acquiring jelly beans. So I don't think we're that far up.
Porter snorts rice and it goes, oh. I'm sorry. Jelly beans?
Yeah.
Wait, do you still have them?
Silhouette just kind of looks down and starts patting her cargo pants and holds up the sack of jelly beans. Yeah, I do. Did you want some?
Oh no, it seems like you guys aren't.
You're lost, man. You could have had board games and jelly beans, but whatever.
So is just leveling this really smug, thoughtful look at BB for a while, and she's kind of chuckling to herself.
Can I help you?
You said you met Prestige's team. I'm just wondering, how do I put this delicately? I'm wondering how you managed to not knock Mr. Menagerie's teeth out.
I mean, he wasn't so bad. He was just
the worst.
Irritating, but not punchable yet.
I mean, our BB here is really learning to control herself, I'd say. Right,
Well,
BB?
I suppose I have to.
Between you and me, I wouldn't blame you. This guy is such a douchebag.
That whole team is pretty exuberant. I'm surprised that what's his name? Teatro's on there.
Yeah, that is the question, right? How did that happen?
But shadows, magic, illusions. Makes sense.
Porter goes, it's not our job to question why Nova chooses who Nova chooses. I mean, they've been doing this for, decades? They know better than us.
But that doesn't mean we can't discuss it.
Yeah. No, you're totally. He kind of looks around. Yeah. Casual discussion.
Have you guys interacted with any other teams?
Not officially, not in a training capacity, but we've seen people around, I guess, catch glimpses of other people training. But yeah, it's really we've just been kind of doing our own thing. Then again, we don't, I guess we don't really talk to that many other people besides you guys.
I can relate.
Well, I mean, personally, that's something I'm going to work on. Want to be on a team someday, then I should know fellow heroes in training.
Aren't you already on a team, though? I know you mean an official team, but...
Link smiles. It's like, she does have you there, Porter. So is there anything else specifically that you guys want to discuss with them during this meeting?
What's Fulcrum like as a person?
Oh, I mean, she's a little like my mom, if I'm being honest, but no, I mean, she's really, really kind, but on topics of power control, like on the subjects of our training, she's very serious, maybe more serious than she lets on, to the outside observer. She has a reputation, for being kind of the campus mom in that way. But I mean, considering her powers are potentially really dangerous, and she's made it clear to us that ours are too. And we don't take that lightly. All three of them seem to be they all kind of get, not somber, but this sort of like quiet seriousness. Yeah, they seem to all agree with that statement. And at this moment, you do notice like larger groups of other people sitting all around, and you see these three just sitting here. And it does click. It does make sense.
So, BB, you said you don't know anything about me. And I don't really know anything about you two, really. So, should we play a game? A questions game?
Yes, sure. I will reciprocate to the best of my ability. Who wants to start? Are you in, Silhouette?
Yeah, I think getting to know one another would be probably beneficial if we're going to be spending more time together.
Echo crosses her arms and she goes, might help to separate the fact from the rumors going around about you.
Rumors?
Oh, well, that can be part of the game, or I can just tell you. I really don't care.
Rumors.
Why don't you just go ahead
Rumors?
and tell us? Rumors?
Who's saying rumors? Hello?
What rumors?
Well, Silhouette, I think, is the least controversial member of your team. If anything, people just think that you're normal.
I mean, for someone who disappears, you'd think there'd be a little more, uncertainty, but I guess normal works too at a school full of, powered people.
Well, the question is, why are you on a team with the person who did most of their training, presumably separate from everyone else. Nobody saw you. We all met each other at one point or another, but where were you? And how did you get the fast track to, maybe the second or third most famous hero of all time's team who may or may not have been dead?
I mean,
so that's mostly what people are saying about you, Ms. Bang. And then there's the mysterious student who walks around with a spear. There's rumors of an exchange student. They're saying you come from that place.
What place would that be?
The place that, to put this delicately, the dinosaur jungle.
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
The dinosaur jungle?
I thought they were just...
I mean, we don't call it that, but that would be an accurate description. Yes. I am from across the Badlands, from the jungle.
That's wild. I think I like you more now.
What are dinosaurs?
The giant reptilian creatures that were extinct by the time modern society had discovered them.
I just
mainly
thought they
fossilized.
were big lizards.
I mean, essentially. They're not dinosaurs. They're not the same as the ones that were on Earth, but they're definitely big and definitely feathered and scaled. And definitely will eat you. So that's my job. I go out and I kill them.
Well, it makes sense how you were able to get a hold of that panther, lion, feline beast, but I mean, it did turn out to be Mr. M.
Yeah, does his intelligence sort of shift and waver with the animals he turns into?
Intelligence.
Echo goes, no, he's a dumb rich kid in any form.
Wait, who are we talking about again?
Mr. Menagerie.
Mr. Menagerie, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, he's certainly an asshole, but he's not. I wouldn't doubt his intelligence yet.
Yeah, you do you.
I mean,
no, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're all a bit quick to judge about all these other peers. I think Prestige's team is pretty cool with all their powers.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to survive that lunch date with Monarch that she insists on, to be quite honest. She's a lot.
Could just not show up.
But then that would be rude.
In terms of my former education experience, let's just say I was in a private program.
A program before this one?
Yes. My family has connections. And when my powers manifested, I was essentially immediately thrown into what I will call generously a training regimen, but really it was a lifestyle. And at some point, I decided I didn't want to live that life anymore, and I left my family, and now I'm here. I mean, not the training, they wanted me to do things that I don't believe in.
Huh. You left your family?
Mainly my mother, who is someone who we will likely inevitably run across.
Oh.
She's kind of in the hero science field.
Huh. So you got connections or something?
I used to have connections. Now I am a loner at a new school. I guess not really a loner right now.
Lone Ranger, more like.
That's a good reference. I understood that reference. My dad really likes the Lone Ranger. So yeah, that's it. Silhouette, what's your origin story?
Origin story. Wow,
Or the
you're
finer points.
really making me up to be a real big shot.
You don't have to tell us.
Well, I mean, there's only so much to tell, you know. And by that I mean there's not a lot to tell. I don't know. I've just always had my powers, and I kind of grew up on my own. Kind of had to fend for myself. Lived in the city all my life. And now I'm here.
Wait, you could even be invisible as like a baby?
I mean,
did you come out invisible?
That would be so confusing.
I mean, I don't totally know. Like, I mean, I've kind of just assumed that I've had my powers since I was a kid. I don't really remember not like a time not having them. And there hasn't really been anyone to tell me otherwise. So, you know, grow up invisible.
And what's everyone's favorite hero? Who's everyone's favorite hero?
Oh, Moonrider.
I would say Tonitrus.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I just like his ethic and the way that he works.
So you must be pretty upset you're not on his team.
Oh, I'm livid. But you know, being on the team of a hero who was thought to be dead for several decades is also interesting.
I mean, I don't really have a favorite here. I didn't grow up with this culture, really. I mean, I knew some things. We have technology. We're not, vines and leathers completely. But I would have to say my mom. As cheesy as it sounds. I guess from what I've seen, I could say either Tonitrus or Pantheon, but I guess I like Diamond Soul too. From, the evaluation period. She seems really nice. So, but I don't really know them.
If you didn't grow up with heroes, what made you want to be a hero?
Well, in a way, being a hunter is our version of a hero. We go out and we procure the food and we hunt the predators that are getting too close. And if anything non-animal were to try to attack us, we would be part of the first defense. I certainly don't see myself that way, and most of my team don't. We're just doing our jobs, but everyone's a hero in their own right. I get.
Well, did you learn from your hero, your mom?
Oh yeah, she was one of the best hunters, so I learned everything from her. And my dad, he was one of the healers, and they worked really well. When she would come home banged up, he would patch her up. So
that's really special.
Yeah.
Link goes, and then leans forward, kind of steeples their hands like this, looks toward the table for a moment. You can kind of see the gears turning in their mind. And they look back up to all of you, their eyes just sort of darting between the three of you. It's been a topic of some debate in the last, say, 24 hours, why you three were chosen for Pantheon's team, and the larger question of why Pantheon has returned. But at the very least, I'm starting to form my own theory about the unifying factor of the three of you.
Do you want to? Yeah, sorry, go.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. No, you go.
No, you go. So what's your fan theory?
One way or another, you're all very much alone.
This isn't what I imagined this conversation going like when I suggested this.
Me either.
Yeah,
I agreed.
Porter leans forward and just sort of puts a hand on Link's shoulder for a moment, sort of flat-palmed, goes, they were.
Oh, big gay feelings.
For now.
Well, shall we, what time is our appointment with Teatro?
At sundown. So if you guys are cool with me kind of wrapping this up a little bit, I'm going to say you guys enjoy a pleasant meal as the tension kind of disperses a little bit, but you have that feeling in the back of your mind, I'm sure, of considering whether or not to attend. And as sundown draws closer and closer, which of you goes? Or do you all go? Or do you discuss it beforehand?
Yeah. We're still all together, right? Yeah.
We can stay in that moment. Otherwise, you've got several hours before, 6:30.
I guess I was just going to say open question to either of you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys going to go? Because I'm a little hesitant. I would love to know more. But he's kind of giving me a weird vibe, and I'm concerned whether or not it'd even be helpful to know what he has to say.
It wouldn't hurt anything, and if we didn't go, I'm sure it would hurt his feelings at the very least.
What sticks out more to me is the fact that he didn't participate in Prestige's little trick. So that makes me think that he has an inkling of respect for us, at least, and honesty about him.
Yep. I guess you're right. Question for Ian. We're supposed to go talk to him because he had something to say about who again?
What was his wording? Yeah.
he essentially said that he is looking for answers about Dr. Guest's attention on you guys. And he is also looking for answers regarding why Pantheon, why you guys. He thinks that there's a bigger game afoot. He doesn't think it's as simple as you guys are just here. That's what he seems to be implying.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I mean, I part of me wants to go, but mostly just because of what he might have to say about, like Dr. Guest. I just weird vibe. I feel like every time we fight, there's just like this weird energy. And like I didn't see him earlier, but it was like the same unnerving feeling again. I don't know if you guys felt that too.
I felt it. Well, if you don't want to go, you don't have to. But I
want to go. I guess I'm just nervous.
No, that's understandable. It's I find Dr. Guest also just incredibly unnerving.
Yeah.
But as far as I trust people here so far, I think I trust Teatro.
Okay. So you guys are going?
Yeah.
All right. If you guys go, I'll go.
Okay. So the sun is pretty high in the sky and starting to descend as you make your way to the library, and you see this enormous dome-like structure with these various sort of towers around it as well that are linked up by this central, smaller sort of monorail platform that forms a halo around, interconnecting the top tower levels.
Fuck, I did the thing again. No, I am the fool.
Dude,
as
strike three.
As the sun begins to set behind these massive towers, glinting off that silver sort of like magnetic car that's going around the top, you step inside and you see just floors upon floors of these sprawling computer screens and desks and private cubicles. There are hallways that lead off to separate rooms. There are sort of training rooms and chambers. This is a massive, massive tech-friendly library. I don't know, how much do you guys kind of explore around? Because
there be training areas in the library?
There are essentially like kind of dance studio rooms.
Oh.
Like that kind of look.
Very cool.
Hardwood floors, mirrored walls.
I'm all over it. I think I'm looking around.
Okay.
I'm when you like go to the library, like you're looking through CD racks.
There are transparent sort of mall elevators that go up. There are stairs and escalators as well, but you can take these elevators that go up through the various floors so you can see
Jesus.
So you can see everything. So if you guys take that, you can ascend through the different levels and see. There are a few floors of like actual library. There are just shelves of books ranging all different types, fiction, nonfiction, textbooks. And you guys have probably had to come here at one point or another just during your training to check out books, look at different things. So I wouldn't say that this is the first time that you guys have been here unless there's a specific reason for any of you that you haven't. But it probably is the first time you've really explored it fully, unless you tell me otherwise.
I think I would have been in there fairly regularly often.
Mm-hmm.
Just to read up on where I am and what it's like to be in the first city,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing.
So as you're looking around the various floors of the library, you don't initially see any sign of Teatro. But as you're looking around, suddenly you see this little black shadow of a butterfly. It's like a crude butterfly shape. It's like this big, and it just starts fluttering kind of annoyingly around your face, and then until it has your attention.
If I were to hazard a guess, I would assume we're supposed to follow whatever this is. Does it do anything else?
You see it.
Shadow butterfly.
It flutters up to a floor above where you are, and you can see the balcony over top at the next floor. And as it flutters up, you see Teatro with his hood up, hair spilling down, leaning over the railing with one finger out, kind of going like this, making that shape. And you see the butterfly land on his fingers. He nods to you very intensely and then disappears behind the railing.
God, he's so dramatic. I love him.
I really didn't like this movement for whatever reason. It made me terribly uncomfortable. He is very dramatic.
That's why he's on Prestige's team.
That's it.
And this is why I was nervous.
I'll go up to where he is.
So as you head up to the next floor, you see that this is a computer hall. And there are these various large and small cubicles with these big kind of flat screen desktops and keyboards. Most of them are touch screens because it's the future. And you're looking around, you see students kind of quietly studying. There's like a small kind of whispered murmur, and you can hear the faint echo of activity all around, but it's more soundproofed up here.
BB leans over to Silhouette and points at a computer and goes, "There's your family."
You know what, BB? You wouldn't be wrong. And I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad. That is my family. That's my brother. That's my sister.
Sounds like you're a little mad.
I'm not mad.
Damn.
I kind of keep walking.
Makes fun of trauma same day, couple hours later. Oh.
See, you walk around this room for a while until you see Teatro with 3 other chairs pulled up in a larger cubicle. He's sitting intently staring at a kind of a dark screensaver. He doesn't turn to look at you when you approach. He goes, "Good. I'm glad that you came."
Did you rent this space out?
He turns and he goes, "It's the computer hall. You don't have to rent it out. You just sit down at an empty cubicle."
No, it's a cubicle. I didn't know you had to do anything. I don't use computers a lot.
Yeah, we know, BB.
Perhaps if you did, you would be a little more illuminated about the truth of things. But you are here, so that is a start.
You about to show us some like conspiracy theories or something?
He narrows his eyes a bit. He goes, "All facts start as theories." And he turns. He touches the screen to wake it up. And it comes up on an article. An old news article. And it's kind of up on a web page that he's on. And it says, "The promised ones ravage the city."
What?
As he begins to scroll through various other articles that he has open in different tabs, you start to see this picture form of a massive event that happened about 25 years ago. He's scrolling through them kind of faster than you can really read them, but he goes, "I have been cross-referencing the timing of things. It seems that the last time anyone saw Pantheon, she supposedly died. supposedly. The truth of the matter is, well, how much do you already know of Pantheon's powers?
Well, it seems to me like she has 5 powers just based on the tattoo, and they all manifest as a different clone of herself. So when they're all inside of her, she has all 5, but she can send them out, and they'll, like, the fast one will be fast, and the one that can fly will fly. And when they're back with her, she can do all of them.
Sure, yeah. Sure.
You would be correct. He starts playing these videos that they look like they were recorded candidly on cell phones. You hear like sounds, people running, you see destruction, some sort of battle. You can hear these like, occasionally you'll see these blurry silver shapes shoot by. And you see as the camera aims up to the sky, you see Pantheon. And she doesn't look like she's aged much, but her hair is much longer and flowing. And you only really recognize her because this is at a distance, again, filmed like from a cell phone. But you see the costume that you saw the statue wearing, the one that was standing next to Moonrider outside the auditorium. You see her flying up over the city, and you see her hurling thunderbolts down from her hands. She paints the image of a goddess of ancient mythology as her cape is just blowing behind her, windswept hair. She just, and then you see another piece of her splits off and like a thunderbolt of its own flies off in another direction, and she's gone. A piece of debris falls down, and the camera moves down to the ground, and it seems like the person is running, and the feed cuts. He goes, there are many old videos such as this, harder to find on general video sharing sites, but I have my sources. Pantheon's powers, well, for a time, she was perhaps the most famous hero. Many would argue the most famous hero ever, aside from Moonrider and now a Fortress. To many, she was a savior, practically a god. This was the last battle that anyone saw her alive. When a group called the Promised Ones, they were sort of a radical, how you might say, terrorist organization. They believed that people were brought to the first city as a sort of proving grounds. We were given these abilities specifically to determine who had the right to rule when we would eventually go back to Earth. Their power and their numbers grew like a hidden parasite within the first city and other places associated with the Alma government, until eventually they made themselves known and formed an alliance with a group of lawless bandits, riders, called the Boundless. When they formed this alliance, they created an all-out assault on the first city and very nearly took it down from the inside. Pantheon fought them. And as far as I can tell from the information that is available to me and to the public, she separated herself to her limit. 6 aspects of Pantheon. This fact is well documented. Though, from what I can tell, the 6th was very rarely ever shown to the world. But she was spread thin, other heroes indisposed, fighting Nova at that time, fighting simultaneous assaults in other cities. It was overwhelming. More danger than heroes could accommodate. Until, and he switches over to another tab, and you see another news article that says, Pantheon dead with a question mark. And as he scrolls down, you see this huge image, and he clicks on it to bring it up to full screen. And you see this smoking ruin, this huge crater, almost like a massive energy strike in one particular part of the city. And this starts to ring a bell, I think, for anyone who's lived in the first city. You would have probably seen this memorial before. But this is before. And it's just this smoking crater filled with debris, metal and rock. There are collapsed, partially melted buildings all around. You see sort of firefighting vehicles parked around. Certain areas are still on fire and smoking. You see there are these discarded, sleek silver motorcycle-like things around. You see that there are security agents and officers who are there as well, who are escorting these figures that have, like, largely they have cybernetic implants sort of crudely placed in different parts of their bodies. A lot of people with like cybernetic hands and arms, like cannons and blades, who are wearing like spiked leathers. They look very much like some sort of very extreme biker gang, and many of them are being escorted away in cuffs. This is this sprawling landscape image. And he says, "It seems to me that information about Pantheon from this event has been suppressed somehow. But I have been able to put together various accounts and photos, stories that don't quite line up, and others that do. And they paint a picture that 5 of her aspects were engaged in other battles throughout the city, and only 1 was seen to die in this explosion. The other 5, well, who knows? But evidently, they survived. Tell me, how many aspects of her have you seen so far?"
Only 2,
2, 3,
right?
Yeah.
The speed and the flight.
Yeah.
Don't think we've seen anything like strength yet. Haven't seen the Thunderbolt thing yet.
Mm-mm.
Interesting. I have not been able to put together which aspects were present in different areas, but we do know that she was, in fact, carved into 6 at the time of her death. She had not been seen since. However, within the superhero community, it is known that she did train Fortress shortly after that, which leads me to believe that the heroes at large, the older generations of them, had been keeping her secret through, at least through Fortress's training. My best estimate, using certain other sources of Fortress's age and going through some school records with the help of a friend, I have surmised that the time that Fortress would have been in training would have been shortly after, within a year after her supposed death. And after that time, a period of some very few years, then she truly disappeared.
I know that people know her. I mean, obviously, there's a statue of her outside the Coliseum, but I mean, I wasn't aware of her too much until we saw her at the assignment ceremony. It seems like she's, to some degree, being pushed down and removed from history by degrees.
So the veil is lifting for you as well. Prior to the death of one of her aspects, She was the most famous hero of her time and of many others. After her death, for her to just disappear, especially considering that she did remain active, at least in the Moonlight Academy, for another 3 to 4 years, begs the question of how one so famous simply disappears.
And these promised ones in the Boundless, they haven't been seen again. There's no resurgence of their ilk.
There are many rumors about what became of the Boundless and the Promised Ones. I believe they could still be out there to this day, but unfortunately I have no evidence to that fact. They were taken away, locked up, executed, who knows. It's not available to the public. What I do know is there was a systematic series of safety protocols and sweeps that were done to make sure that no remnants of them remained.
Well, what do these disappearances have to do with us? I mean, we're just her students at this point.
Why'd you come back for seemingly us?
Why, indeed. And furthermore, do you remember what I told you? That everything is connected. And one set of prying eyes that have been following you. He begins to run some weird stuff. You see, he looks around. He sort of positions himself so your bodies are blocking him. He takes out this sort of flash drive that he has, and he places it into the computer, and it brings up this program that looks like this strange sort of photo editing program that is not really like anything you've seen before. He brings up that same image of that sprawling, that end to the battle that you had seen. And he zooms in, and he begins cleaning up this image. He zooms into one of the figures in this biker getup being taken away in a line by the security officers. He zooms into one that's being placed into a vehicle in the far corner of the image. A hand of the security officer is pushing the head from the back of the neck kind of into the car. Long, wild black hair is spread out around the hand, and you can just barely see the blurry outline of a face turned back, chiseled cheekbones, pale, pale skin, and those almost blank, sort of hawk-like eyes of Dr. Guest. Presumably a member of the Boundless at this time.
You hate to see it. Well, if Dr. Guest was a member of the Boundless, why is he here? Why do the teachers just let him hang out? How did he get to be the way he is now?
Not teachers. Teacher, one. Only Fortress. There is no record of Dr. Guest at this school prior to 5 years ago. Shortly after, the same year that Fortress became the headmistress of the Moonlight Academy. She brought him on board. However, there are no public records, no other schools, no classes ever having been taught. He was never a squad leader. No image or images of him. Only one descriptor of his position, most likely to cover their bases so parents would not complain. He is listed in the registry as consultant, behavioral psychology. Curious, yes?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I don't think any of us ever got a good feeling from him. I guess this only emphasizes that.
But why? Like, I mean, my first thought is that he is the sixth part of Pantheon that got blasted away, but I don't know why that would be so. They're just both, spectral beings. I mean, Pantheon isn't spectral, but
There is no record of Pantheon having the ability to shapeshift. Her powers, her specific aspects at least, the 5 that are known, are strength, speed, flight, hurling thunderbolts, and invulnerability.
yeah, I know. That was an idea. They live
The
in a
power of the
superhero
6th.
world.
It is safe to say that the power of the 6th was not known.
Hmm. So what do we do with this?
I don't know. Continue to dig. Keep your eyes open. I have a friend. They would prefer to remain anonymous for now, but there is a like mind here who has more access than I. We will be working closely together, and I will contact you again. Or you may contact me again should you find anything first.
Will do. And why do you want to help us? Or get to the bottom of this, I suppose.
The mystery of my own stake in this will have to remain as such for now. I believe that I can trust you, but I do not know for sure. Only time will tell. For now, let us just say, I believe that there is only one story, and we only have access, well, to the preamble.
Huh. Well, I certainly get why you're on Prestige's team now.
On that subject, before you go, there is one last matter I would like to discuss. Though he has not announced it yet to the other students, Mr. Menagerie and the rest of Prestige's team is going to be hosting a party of sorts this Saturday.
Party.
It is
Party.
something of a lightly unspoken tradition for the members of Nova teams to have a party exclusively to themselves. I believe the instructors know about this, but they do not encourage it, though they cannot expressly forbid us gathering. They do not encourage that sort of division between the Nova teams and non-Nova teams, and I frankly do not encourage it either. I find it crass, and I am not one for crowds. However, I think it will be a good opportunity to observe the many cogs at work in this very great machine. Whatever is happening, I believe it is going to affect all of us.
So, was that an invitation? Or since Pantheon's not on Nova, an invitation to crash?
I will tell you that discussions have been had within our team as to whether or not you would be invited, because you are not technically Nova members. However, you are the talk of the school, and ultimately you are going to be invited. Menagerie or Monarch will approach you soon, probably by tomorrow at the latest. I wanted to give you a heads up. It would certainly make it easier for me if you all were to attend.
Easier?
As I said, I do not like crowds.
Oh, okay.
And 3 extra pairs of eyes who are looking for the truth of things.
There it is. Well, I hope I get an invite.
You will. You are a subject of some discussion here. Again, I find it crass. Gossip. But it can be useful.
I'm sorry. Sorry, my bad. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I was finished.
Oh, no. I've just never been pre-invited to be invited to a party before.
It is to be held at an off-campus house, slightly off-campus. Menagerie's parents, They donate money to the
There it is. I was waiting for it.
Hell yeah.
I would have preferred not to live there, but I have a private room, so I cannot complain.
Oh, so you live at Menagerie's estate. Essentially.
In a manner of speaking, yes. And as a person who lives there and shares quarters with the other team members, I am assuming the right to invite who I please.
That's very kind of you.
That being said, I don't technically have the right, so don't mention that I invited you.
I mean, if you ever don't want to stay there, you can crash on my mini couch if you want. Because, he's a dick.
I may be strange and off-putting, but I do still like beds. He turns back to the camera and just kind of, or not the camera, the screen, the computer, and like kind of steeples forward.
For the
intently.
audience, it's a front shot that makes it look like he's looking at us.
Yeah.
So we get up and we kind of exit. As we leave, BB leans over to Silhouette and says, "Sorry for making that joke about computers and your family. That was uncalled for."
Well, yep. I appreciate your apology. But yeah, computers are fun.
Team building.
We're like totally gonna find people to crash and like sneak in, right? Like we're gonna find other students who aren't Nova members and just like roll up and see what happens. Because that's what I want to do.
Honestly, I didn't think about that, but I think that'd be really great. I think it's a really great idea.
Who could we invite, though? We don't know a lot of people so far.
Yeah, we kind of have to meet people to make that happen. But once it does happen, it'll be great.
Yeah, we got a few.
And then we'll know
right?
people.
Well, that'll be a event, assuredly.
So as you exit the library with all of these strange, disparate pieces of information rattling around in your brain, you enter into the rest of the week. Every day you spend really varying amounts of time. It really seems to change every day. Sometimes Pantheon will just show up and be like, "Hey, we're training now." There's no real rhyme or reason to it, to the point where it gets kind of frustrating. Sometimes she'll wake you all up with a phone call in the middle of the night to go do drills in the city. Other times you'll wake up early. Other times she won't start until the afternoon. Other times she'll end a training session. One day she ends a training session, doesn't tell you when you're meeting the next day, and you don't hear from her for an entire day. Every day is different.
The respect meter just keeps going down and down and down every time that happens for Paramount.
The training, however, is quite rigorous. She has you exercising very heavily. You guys like feel that strain of like, my muscles it's happening. And you're fighting the practice dummies. You're doing like saving people drills in the city where you have kind of a save the citizen kind of a moment. All of these various things that you're having to do. Is there anything that you guys want to do in this span of days specifically before we fast forward to the day of the party?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said just an audible thinking.
I have like a bullet point list.
Okay.
If you have something more specific.
I was just going to say, I would be interested in trying to craft like team maneuvers, like plays.
Like combos.
Combos, exactly.
Okay.
I don't know why I went for a sports analogy because I don't know sports.
That is interesting because that is a mechanic that I want to include in the game. I do want you guys to be able to kind of fuse your initiatives at times or like sacrifice your spot in the initiative in order to do a combo attack. So that is something I think that you guys can start trying to figure out sort of in game, and then out of game we'll work on how we're going to incorporate that because I really, really love that idea.
Tight.
I will say, however, as Teatro predicted, the very next day, you guys are...
Please say Monarch. Please say
It is Monarch.
Yes!
It is Monarch. And as you guys are having a meal together, Monarch walks up to you guys. Today she's wearing these tall, laced-up boots, this like bright pink mini dress with her trademark like thick black belt that she wears. Actually, she has just a trademark thick belt around her waist, but... it's different all the time. She seems to have many different belts that she wears. And she walks up to you guys and she kind of scoots herself in to the end of the table and she sits down. She goes, "Hello, everyone. Sorry, don't mind me. Scooch in, make room. Sorry." How are you? How's it going?
Great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Training's been real good. Trying to plan some fun sort of extracurricular activities. Tell me, I'm not a bother, am I? Is this all right? I'm not crashing anything. I don't mean to just invite myself to your business.
No, invite.
Yeah, we wouldn't want you to feel like that as much as we wouldn't want to feel like we were crashing or uninvited to anything you were doing.
Appreciate that. And it's funny that you bring that up because, and she kind of looks around and she leans a little bit closer to the edge. So, we on Prestige's team, we're starting to host a little get together for the other members of the Nova team members teams, and it's I know it's a little silly, and we're not trying to be exclusive to anyone or foster that divide that it's something that we're all very conscious of, but at the same time, it's tradition. And for as long as there's been a Moonlight Academy with Nova members, this has happened. And a lot of the time, it is Prestige's team that's doing the hosting, especially now. Mr. Menagerie's got a great setup. I mean, you wouldn't believe this place. We've got a pool, we've got all the amenities. It's wonderful, really. And so we're going to host a little get-together for the members of Nova team. And while technically you guys are not members of Nova team, I mean, your squad leader is the most famous member of Nova that ever lived. So how can we not invite you? And also, we just want you there.
Good addition at the end there.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Yeah.
Yeah, fun. When is that happening?
So it's on Saturday. Show up anytime. It's a loose schedule, really. I mean, we're saying that it starts at 8, but really, I mean, come anytime, honestly. Just maybe don't come too early.
Show up like 3 hours early. Well, yeah. You know, I'm starting to see someone, and you know, I think it would be great if I brought them, if that's okay. They're not obviously a Nova member, but would that be all right?
I mean, I would say yes under normal circumstances. I think +1s are wonderful, but you know, with the space issue, and this is really Menagerie's thing. I mean, it's his parents' house largely. I mean, they don't live there. I mean, they just paid for it, but it's really not my call to make. I'm sorry about that. But on the plus side, I mean, this whole school really, but especially the other Nova members, are just chomping at the bit to get to know you three. So I'm excited to hear everything there is to know.
All right. Well, I think we will be there.
All right. Yeah.
Is there a dress code?
Oh, no, love. No, go. Just look your best, look your worst. Do whatever you want. Be yourself.
Yourself? Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely try to be there.
Trying and doing is two different things, love. All right, I'll see you there. I'm holding you to that, right? All right. I'm so excited. All right, later. See you later. All right. And she gets up and she kind of shuffles away.
Really not a fan of the exclusivity of these events.
I say, Ramon, you invite whoever you want. We'll deal with it when we get there. And speaking of which, you want to share? I would love to know who your partner is.
Never...
Oh, that was a lie. I was lying.
Okay. I love that.
But we're going to find you one in the next few days, or at least a stand-in.
I fist bump BB.
I really just wanted to test the waters on how they'd react to, you know, that whole people who aren't part of the cool kids club coming. So,
you know, I'll go with the it's not my house excuse, but there's not enough space.
Yeah, she said there was a pool and other
amenities,
large amenities. I don't think that's a problem.
Pool and other amenities probably means there's also a tennis court. So, you know, I'd really think that it's fine to bring some more friends.
Mm-hmm.
Should we go see if Porter, Echo, and Link gotten the invitation?
Sure.
Check in with them?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you go and you discuss with them, and you learn that Link is going home for the weekend, as is often the case, and wouldn't really be going to an event like this anyway, leaving Porter free to do so, and Porter and Echo have both been invited.
Yeah.
Cool. Friends.
So how many days do we have until the party?
So this would have happened on like the next day after you talked to Teatro. So it would be probably like Tuesday at this point on the day of the invitation.
Okay.
And then the week of training that I described happens like for the rest of the week.
So we're just going to show up looking mad jacked up.
I don't know anyone.
I don't know anyone either. I think we just go and then we crash with other people at a later event.
Yeah.
Unless we just want to pull a rando off the side of the street.
Sorry, the faces I was making was not directed at you guys. I'm
it's okay.
Making faces at the dog noises.
I keep not hearing the dogs when I'm speaking.
That's
cool. Talking.
Sorry, audience. These ones are getting left in.
So I think we just do we go shopping?
You can.
Absolutely. I'm gonna send you something I thought of for a swimsuit for BB.
Oh shit! Okay.
That I just had in my brain that is now relevant because there's a pool.
Oh man,
So
it
are
is
you-
a pool party too.
Are you guys trying the plan that you had?
I think not like actively. I think like if there's someone in the same training space while she's like doing her push-ups, doing her drills, in her free time, then she'll be like, "Hey, what's your name?" But
Ooh,
she's not
yeah.
gonna like go out searching for a specific person for the sole purpose of bringing them to this party.
I
dude.
need you to come hang out with me so we can expose corruption
Yeah.
in this larger group.
I will
Dude.
say, if you do present that idea to a few people who are not Nova members,
Mhm.
you will get the general vibe that most of them are like, they either don't care
Mhm.
or they're like, that's really, like, why would we want to go to that? Like, that sounds
Right.
really lame. And also, like, we're going to have our own thing that we're going to do on a different day. But there is one student, I will say, if you want this to happen,
Mhm.
there is one student who is like piqued interest at this idea. And I have an idea of who that is.
Again, let's go. I'm here to make trouble. That's what I'm here for.
Also,
Wait,
also, I'm imagining like movie montage of all three of us in different locations, like training, fighting in class, and we're just like talking to people like we have a fucking secret, and people, it's just like people's reactions of being like, no, like, why would I want that?
we're all
I just-
super earnest about it, and they're just like,
Yeah.
So as you guys are doing this in your separate locations, you see it's almost like kind of a spy movie with the different like
Yeah.
moments of you guys discussing. But then it cuts to the person you're talking to going like, but Haramon, you are, I'm going to say that you are just doing some physical training just on your own.
Mhm.
Is that something that you do?
Oh yeah.
Maybe in one of the practice rooms with the mirrored walls and the...
Because I imagine, it's been 300 years cut off from this culture. They do have like a slightly different take on a lot of like the martial arts and fighting styles and things. So I think it's very important to Haramon that they keep doing those drills in keeping that part of the culture, like keeping that specific fighting style that they have, with her staff or her spear. I forgot to clear this with you, but I wanted her to have like a collapsible staff alongside a spear, because I think the spear is more like it is a weapon. It's a functional weapon, but I think for her to carry it around, it is more like a traditional decorum thing, like a posturing thing. Because if she's running around in the trees, she's not going to have a full spear like on her back, like hitting vines and stuff. So I wanted her to have something collapsible, if that was okay.
Yeah.
And have that be her like main training weapon, would be that collapsible staff. So I think a lot of the times you'll just find her with like a punching bag or a dummy, just like doing the drills of the Costati spear and staff work a lot of the time.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that would be, there are several on-campus gyms, and you would be doing that in like a larger training room probably, where there are other people doing martial arts drills of their own. There are people fighting like kind of practice dummies that are not like the robot ones that are just like basic movements with blocking and stuff.
I think when she's in a bigger one, she doesn't do the like cultural specific stuff because to keep it a secret. But if she's in a larger one, she'll just do basic, like kicking things and push-ups and all that good stuff.
So as you're in this room and you're doing this, you notice there's quite a lot of commotion on the other side of the room. And as you look up, you see a group of other students. You don't recognize most of them. There's maybe like 3 or 4, but there's one in particular that you kind of recall seeing a name at the champions announcements when the names were flashing up, and you're kind of trying to recall what this person's name was. It's up to you if you remember it or not, but you see this group of people they're sort of lined up to do like a short sparring match. There's another student standing nearby with a clock, with like a timer that they're putting on every time another challenger comes forward. And you see this student at the moment, he's wearing like a black tank top that gradients down to white, just very simple athletic black pants, no shoes at the moment. And you see this like kind of slim, athletic, toned figure with very, very red hair that's shaved on the sides, but he has kind of a long sort of Taliesin Jaffe mohawk, you know? And he's got this just shit-eating grin on as one by one students are coming up to challenge him, and he's fighting and he's blocking, and he wins every single time, and it seems that they're being timed at a minute. People have 1 minute to try and knock him down, and any time that he like almost gets knocked down, he like lands on a hand and like flips himself back up. He's got some impressive moves, this guy. And as you're thinking back, I'm going to leave it up to you again if you remember his name or not.
Let's roll for it.
Sure, yeah. Go ahead and roll an
baby.
intelligence.
Oh, it's not as good as my other ones.
You gotta fight him, and if you win, you take him to the party.
Yeah. That's a 1 out of 2.
1 out of 2? Okay, yeah. That's 50%. Yeah, you don't remember whose team he's on. You know it's not a Nova member, but this guy's name is Backtrack.
Oh.
And you kind of remember seeing him in like different fighting training as well, but you haven't really seen his power come into play, so you don't really know what he does or if he even has a power. But every time that he takes somebody down, he kind of laughs and he talks. You can't really hear what he's saying, but he makes a joke, and whoever that he's with kind of laughs with him too, and he always reaches out a hand to pick them up, and they clap each other on the back, and they kind of wrap up, and everybody breaks off to go their separate ways. He does some like little handshakes and fist bumps with everybody, and he waves, and he just kind of picks up a towel and he starts just wiping down the area.
Responsible
around.
gym goer.
And he looks like he's on his way out. And he walks by you and he nods to you as he's going, but he doesn't really say anything unless you engage him in conversation.
Engage.
Here's the problem. I don't know how to engage.
No.
Just in general. Me.
Throw your collapsed spirit him.
Drop it. Just drop it in front of him.
Club staff. Yeah.
Yeah. Just be like, oh, I'm sorry.
Just like the bend snap. I'll say something like, you do that often?
He looks back to where you're pointing and he goes, I mean, not all the time, but I do it when people ask. There were a couple of friends messing around. They wanted to see if they could knock me over.
What makes you so hard to knock over?
Training, I guess. I don't know. I mean, there's no particular reason, I think. My power isn't physical at all. It's really got nothing to do with fighting, but I figure if I'm going to do this, I gotta... What am I doing telling you my whole life story? I'm so sorry. I'm Backtrack. I'm on Blackout's team.
Oh. Do I know who that is?
Not really. Well, you can. That's up to you. Again, that's up to you. If you want to roll for it or...
Oh, let's keep rolling.
Just keep it up.
Let's keep rolling. Rolling. Again, 1 out of 2.
1 out of 2?
Yeah.
You remember the name. You can kind of picture... I think the most that you remember is he's considered to be like one of the younger, maybe the youngest
Mhm.
squad leader. Kind of a handsome young hero in his prime kind of a guy. You know that he's very acrobatic and fighting based, but you don't know much else past that.
Right.
You know
Oh.
that there was some buzz about him that this is his first year. So that's why the
Oh.
name is in your mind, Blackout.
How's that going? First time squad leader. First
He's
time
great,
heroes?
man. Having a hero who's like still out there. I mean,
Mhm.
they're all still out there, but you know,
Time management.
yeah, man,
problems.
he's great. It's been fun. It's been fun and
Well-
rigorous. Very, very rigorous. I think I got put exactly where I needed to be.
Hermone, by the way.
Yeah, I've heard. I've seen you around in the combat stuff.
Yeah.
Too bad we never got paired up. I
No,
would have
well,
loved it.
We could right now.
You
I
want
could
to
take the
see if you can knock me
challenge.
over?
Yeah.
Fight.
All right.
Fight.
Yes.
So, why don't you go ahead and make a Yeah, just make however you make a melee attack.
However, I do it with. You mean with my fists or with my weapons?
Like however you're about to try and do it.
With your words.
He just he assumes a stance.
Now, is this a non-powered challenge?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you were gonna do the hair thing on me, I feel pretty certain you would knock me over.
Yeah.
He knows power.
Yeah, I'll do it with my spear because I have the specialty for it. Best chance of success. No, I didn't see where that went. I'm gonna re-roll all of those. Well, I again I dropped the other dice. Okay, so that's 2 out of 3.
Okay, so you take your spear and you whip it out toward him. He brings both arms up, it almost seems like he's predicting where it's going to go, but you see him following it with his eyes. He brings both arms up, and it looks like you're going to just whack into the hard parts of his arms, but he twists just at the right moment and grabs the spear and pushes back, and you stagger.
Oh.
A valiant effort.
I'm going to assume one of the specific stances and try to hit him with something he's never seen before.
Okay.
Again.
Hit him where it hurts.
Yeah, I'm also going to go pick
The
up those
heart.
dice that I dropped to the floor.
I'm going to go ahead
Gosh
and
dang.
roll his defense.
An audience, you're welcome for Natasha and my previous fight ASMR corner.
Those qualities.
Does it sound like a fart when I move my chair?
No.
'Cause I think it sounds like a fart.
It's a fart.
All right. That's 4
4?
Ladies.
out of 3.
Okay. So what does this move look like?
I don't actually know how bow staff work actually works.
Make it up.
Yeah, I think one of the things that could throw people off is the specific way that the staff is held. It's counterintuitive to how you would think. It looks like, I think there's a lot of this going on, which doesn't look that stable, but somehow it works. And I think there's just a lot of, with that sort of grip, there's a lot of different maneuvers that you can do that shouldn't have the power that they have. And it sort of can stagger an opponent who's seen it for the first time.
Mm-hmm. So for a moment, it looks like he's going to counter, and you move at the exact right moment. He tries, and he really almost gets close, but you slide just under his arm, get him in the side, and he staggers down and lands on his back very quietly. He break falls perfectly well. He's like, Nice. Man. He arches his back and puts his palms on the ground and kicks himself back up onto his feet. The old Buffy move.
Mm-hmm.
He gets back off. He goes, That is the most fun I've had all day.
Well, so I'm sure you know that the Nova members like to have their own little party.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
How would you like to have some fun with me and my friends then? Because I'm personally not into that kind of vibe, but we were invited and it would be rude to go. But why not have a little fun, raise a little hell? Nothing serious, obviously. It is Mr. Menagerie's parents' house. But
You mean one of Mr. Menagerie's parents' houses?
well, that's not really for me to speak on, but yes, sure.
Oh, well, I really shouldn't, but, well, seeing as how Blackout used to be Tonitrus's sidekick back in the day. Well, partner. Sidekick is so diminutive.
Didn't know that. That's for sure.
I mean, he's worked with Nova in the past. It wouldn't be breaking any rules if I just sort of made an appearance.
May or may not have to pretend to be my partner because I did try it with Monarch. Maybe. But if you're not comfortable with that, we can just skate right by.
Yeah, what a terrible fate that would be, right? I'll see what I can do. Thanks for the workout, by the way.
Yeah.
See you around. What day?
Pheromone.
Saturday?
Saturday
I hear things.
at 8.
He kind of cracks his back again and makes his way out of the room.
Haramone's courtship rules. Engage. Challenge them to a fight. Beat them to the ground. Ask them out.
I'm sweating.
Me too.
I just love it. Well, first of all, like, I feel like any interaction that any of us have with anyone else is just like always like, oh my god, well, like, what's gonna happen next? And I feel like that's so telling of like the people that we are. Just constantly like, oh my god, are they gonna kiss?
This is a place for kiss fiends only.
Off cam, just for the audience's knowledge, after we met, what's his name? Helix. After that session, we were all like, oh my god. Yeah, I'm like, I like love him.
Yeah. And he's gonna be there maybe too. So
Think about
what
that.
are we gonna do about that?
I don't know.
I honestly want Silhouette and Helix. That's a cute pairing in my mind. If Silhouette's into that.
I just cried so many tears.
Okay, sorry.
Shall we fast forward to the party, or do we want to fast forward to right before?
Can we fast forward to like entering the party so we can meet Backtrack first? For those of us who haven't met Backtrack.
Sure.
So how far out is the house from the campus?
So this is the thing. The campus is huge. Technically, it's not very far out. It's only like, it's like a 10-minute walk from the edge of campus, but campus is it is enormous. So like, from what part of campus are you referring? You know,
it's like a trek, like,
but you can walk there.
relatively, but objectively, it's close.
Yeah. If you guys are staying like in the dorms, it's closer because the dorms are more on the outskirts. So you can walk there in like 15-20 minutes.
Can Silhouette have one of those new like skateboard hoverboards that's just a single wheel?
Dude, I literally was okay. I was gonna say the single hoverboard thing, but I was gonna say, can she like go there on skates?
Yeah,
because I love that for her. Yeah. If we're all walking there, she's fucking skating.
I love it.
Sick.
I'm down with that. That's like, we can go right to the party.
Sure.
but I love just pulling up. I'm imagining Silhouette just going skirt and then stopping in front of the house.
So
yeah.
it is nighttime. The moon is shining brightly over the city, and as you make your way away from campus and kind of down the block, you see that there are other similar condos and places sort of all down this street. You guys probably would have the option to stay in one of these places together if you wanted to. But we can work out like what arrangements you guys made for your particular dorms. But as you make your way down the street, it is not difficult to see where you're going here, because it is this sweet like corner spot. It is the largest house on the block, and it is a house. I mean, it is this big 2-story, not mansion, but like a really ritzy condo. And you can hear the beat coming from like, it's like pulsing in your chest from, like a block down. And you can see the lights, and you can see, there aren't really like streamers or anything like that, but you can see that there are other students sort of hanging out on the outside. And occasionally you can see Monarch flying up around, like making the rounds on the outside. You hear some splashes as you get closer. The pool is probably around the back side. There's a little fence around. And you see all these other students. And as you approach, are you guys all walking together?
Well, yeah.
I would say, yeah.
Hermon's like skating ahead a little bit. Oh, not Hermon. Silhouette's like skating ahead.
I like to think that I'm like rolling alongside you guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
So super leisurely, like 1 foot, 2 foot.
Okay.
Mhm.
As you guys are walking, you see this figure who's just sort of leaning up against a nearby tree, and it is Backtrack. But now he's kind of dressed like a Power Ranger in a weird way. Like, you know how Power Rangers dress like outside of their costumes? So
In
he's
a
wearing
single color.
Yeah, he's wearing like
monochrome
gray skinny
man.
jeans. He's wearing like gray skinny jeans with a belt. He's got a tight-fitting black tank top tucked into it, but then he has a red collared shirt open over top of it with the sleeves rolled up. And you see he's got like bracelets on. His hair is like styled back, but it just like goes jagged with wisps coming out on the side just a little bit. And he walks up to you guys and he goes, "Yeah, the thing about staying sufficiently out of sight, don't care enough to do that. Good to see you."
Everyone, this is Backtrack. I met him like 2 days ago.
Howdy, I'm BB.
Bang Bang, Silhouette. Heard a lot about you guys. Not a lot. Not a lot of facts, so I'm trying to ignore it.
Oh,
That-
we've
know?
gotten that.
Seems like the fair thing to do.
Yeah, seems to be something that most people like to do. Just assume, but
He's part of, what did you say? What is his name? Blackout?
Yeah.
Yeah, his team.
oh, cool.
Oh, Blackouts.
Mhm.
That's cool. He trained with Tanatress, right?
Yeah, they were partners for years.
I like that.
Okay.
I'm a fan of Tanatress. I didn't mean to make it weird.
Oh, no, it's not.
Cool.
I'm sorry. No, it's just funny because the elephant in the room, I guess I just have to say it. But, everybody kind of saw you huff your way up to Helix on placement day. So it's just interesting. But it's no big deal. Tensions were high. It was a wild day. Hey, man, I'm just happy to be here. You guys are... Yeah. Maybe I should...
I kind of love him. This is out of character. Sorry.
I'm gonna get a drink. I'll see you guys in there.
Pheromone is wearing essentially a long swimsuit covering for clothes. It's opaque, but it's like this, almost like a caftan sort of, and then it has a belt. And you can see like this like flowy slitted skirt underneath everything, and it's like off the shoulder.
So pretty.
Like it's an outfit, but you can tell that should the need arise, she's already dressed to go swimming.
Mm-hmm.
And like on the belt there are a couple of pouches, for utility's sake.
Mm-hmm.
I think BB does rock a cowboy hat on this occasion. It's not something she wears regularly, but like a, say, tan cowboy hat, and but like a kind of a dark tan. Some would say that's brown, but so a brown cowboy hat, a light tan faux leather jacket, and she's doing the swimsuit underneath the jacket and pants thing. So I'm just going to show the swimsuit that Karina sent me.
Sure.
It's like this,
Wow.
but black and white.
I love.
And shout out Fashion Brand Company. And then jeans and boots, the huge.
Okay.
And the BB belt, obviously.
Yeah,
of course.
Non-negotiable fashion item.
Non-negotiable. Honestly, I think the only difference with Silhouette's outfit is her roller skates.
Legend.
Yeah, she has like a strap for it too, like so she could take them off, and just like hang them over her shoulder. That's the only real difference. I mean, I think if anything, the one thing that's coming to mind, and I wish I had a reason, but her pants are camo, and I think that's just a feeling I have. That I must I must give into. So camo pants, and she's got some sick ass black suede roller skates.
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think one more thing I just thought of. I think Haramon's hair is tightly braided on either side of like the temple, and it like goes back behind the ear. So effectively she has like a mohawk sort of situation happening.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Audience, you may not like it, but fashion is key.
It is.
Character building.
As you guys approach the door, you ring the doorbell, and the door opens, and Mr. Menagerie stands there with this big, bright smile. He's not dressed that differently than he was the last time you saw him. Maybe he's one more button down the sternum than usual, but he kind of dresses like casual party ready all the time. And he's just beaming at you, and he goes, awesome. All right. I am so happy that Team Pantheon made it. Guys, welcome. Please have a drink, have a seat. There's a game room. The pool is outside. You are welcome, more than welcome, to anything you want. Come on. Hey, everybody. Team Pantheon is here. And
all of us went.
Yeah. And you see a lot of people throughout the party turn and just kind of woo. There are some woos, some disparate woos. And as you step inside, you do see this. There is like a little foyer area that is decorated a little bit. There's like maybe some dry ice, and there are cups with ice out here, and there's like some food out here, some snacks, some chips and stuff. And then as you step through, he's just blabbing. He's just like talking about the different areas and different rooms as he's pointing them out as he brings you guys in. You see the inside, the main sort of party area. There's this huge sort of living room space with this giant flat screen TV that looks like it's one of those appears as if from nowhere TVs where the cabinet separates for it to come out. You can see that right now it's playing just some like party tracks and music and stuff. There is lighting all around in like different colors that seem to move independently with some remote somewhere that someone is controlling. There's about like 20 students here. There are a couple people that are not here, but I don't think it's immediately evident unless you're looking for specific people.
Wait, 20 students in the whole party?
Yeah.
Or just in this room? Oh, it's like a kickback.
Like in the whole party, yeah.
Okay.
There's like 20 people.
Looking down the list and counting how many people are on each individual team.
Yeah.
To see who's missing.
It's roughly the right number. And people that you don't see could be in other rooms as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can see through the huge sliding glass door, you can see that there is a really nice pool outside that has sort of this rocky sort of environment built around it, with this little makeshift waterfall slide thing that people can go down, and you see that people are doing that. You see Monarch is outside. She's just like got her feet in the pool. She's got a drink in one hand and she's just like laughing. She laughs very, very loudly and very big. She has a very big mouth laugh that you can hear from even in here. And one of the first things too that catches your attention is there is a long like beer pong table set up. And you see the two people who are playing currently. One of them is someone that you haven't seen yet, really. And he is this very large, I'm talking like he's like 6'4", 6'5" guy, big, wide smile, bald head. He's wearing a red and white football jersey with Roman numeral 4 on the front. He's got a curly black beard that kind of poofs out across his jawline that like ends up here because he's got a like shiny shaved bald head. And just huge muscular arms, kind of a soft stomach, and he is throwing the ball into the cup as one does. Can you tell I went to college? And the person on the opposite side of the table is the lady that Bang Bang saw when you confronted Helix, who was on Tonatrus's team. You see she has kind of an 80s sort of aesthetic about her. She's got a tank top underneath a sort of cut off one shoulder, flowy, like dark kind of violet shirt. She's got jeans that sort of flare out at the bottom and boots on. She doesn't look like she particularly dressed up for this occasion, and she's got like a half shave and that long Merida red hair. And you see she just bullseyes a ball in, and she goes, "You're gonna have to do a lot better than that if you want to take me down, big boy." And you see the guy on the other side of the table is like, "I'm gonna take that as a challenge." He upraises his arms, and you see through this deep tank top that he wears, 2 more huge arms grow out of the side of his body until he looks like a Machamp. And he takes a ping pong ball in each hand and just tosses all 4 of them. And some of them hit, but you see Boomerang is her name. She folds her arms, she goes, "You know that's cheating, Ive, and you're gonna pay for it. Matryoshka." And she calls over, and you see Matryoshka run over, and she goes, "Yes? Oh," and you see her divide into like 6 different progressively smaller versions of herself as she just throws balls at each form. And a lot of them are mostly hitting Ivy, is that guy's name. So that is what you see at this party.
Is anybody noticing Backtrack? Or like
you see Backtrack?
Yeah, where'd he go?
Yeah.
Are you looking around to see like where he is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. You're looking around to see where he is, and you see he's got his pants rolled up, and he is sitting outside having a drink with Monarch by the pool.
See, it's great.
Cute.
And there's like a small crowd gathered around, and they're all laughing and having a great time. No one seems to care that he specifically is here. And you now, having interacted with him twice in a group, are starting to see that this guy has a natural charisma.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like under any circumstances, people just seem to like him. Or at least he can not make them, but you know what I mean? Like he's just a very sociable person. It's very, very difficult not to get along with. So like, there's no problem there.
We were trying to expose this hidden exclusivity, and we got foiled by charisma.
So, at this point, I'm going to say, as you guys are walking around, you you have an encounter with another student. We're gonna have an interaction with somebody, but I'm gonna leave it up to you guys which Nova member you want it to be. And if it's one of the ones that's not here, I'll tell you. But why don't you guys take a look at the list and tell me who you would like to meet?
You mean by Nova member, you mean a student
Nova
of
team,
yeah,
a person who's
I've made most of these children, so I will leave it up to you two. Because I already know what they're like.
Tasha, what are you thinking?
You talked so greatly about Ivy, but I'm still looking at.
You want to do Wi-Fi?
People. Oh yeah.
Wi-Fi or troubleshooter? I'm also interested to know who Knock Knock is.
I know, dude. Okay, yeah, Knock Knock.
Knock Knock. Okay. Do you want to do that?
Are we only meeting one person?
Yeah, for the moment.
Okay, since we both said Knock Knock, I also
Knock Knock. Okay,
yeah.
Interesting. So as you are, you're just sort of awkwardly trying to find a place to be, I guess. I don't know. It's up to you guys how you're behaving at this party. But Mr. Menagerie finishes his little spiel and he goes off to do whatever it is he's going to do. He looks like he's just making the rounds, filling up drinks, being very hosty. It seems like this man, his face should be sore from smiling this constantly. As you're walking around, you notice that the TV is not just playing music. It's playing music, but there are like videos on as well. And you see that there is a singular lone figure just sitting by herself, just on the couch watching that TV. You see a young lady who is wearing kind of like baggy jeans that are just like a little bit too big for her. This big hoodie, big baggy, like dark colored hoodie. She has long stringy hair that goes down like a little past her shoulders and just big brown eyes. And she's just sitting there like watching the TV. She doesn't seem sad or distressed or anything, and no one is really sitting near her. There are other people sitting on the couch, but they're like away, like on the opposite sides. It's a big like L couch, or even more like a squared off U couch in a weird way.
Yeah.
And she's just sitting dead center by herself, just like pleasantly watching TV. And as you guys are walking around, you're like looking for whatever. You notice her because you are standing directly in her path. And kind of like in the way. And she looks up at you and she goes, You're blocking my view.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I kind of back up.
Baby does as well.
Sorry about what were we watching?
I don't know. Generic trash pop music video. It's interesting to analyze what people think is fashionable these days.
That's fair.
I just like to take it all in.
She says that talking to two of the least fashionable people at this party.
Hey, you're those guys, huh?
Yeah.
Everybody's been talking about you.
Well,
not to me, but
that's what people do, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been getting that a lot, but I didn't catch who you were. What's your name?
That's okay. I didn't say it. I'm Knock Knock.
Knock Knock. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Do
you guys want to sit down? You look uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Sure.
I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually would like to sit down. Yeah.
Cool. She just is like watching TV.
Love her.
Bang Bang. It's funny that we both have double names. BB's really awkward at parties.
Oh yeah, I guess we do, huh?
What's your power?
I possess people's bodies.
Cool. I kind of do that a little bit. In the same vein.
Oh, do you leave behind an empty husk, turn into kind of a astral projection of yourself, enter someone's body like a puppet and just sort of move them around according to your will?
No, but I can make them just stop or sometimes even drop.
Oh, that's cool. That's convenient.
Silhouette and BB are horrified.
That's why my name is Knock Knock, by the way, if you couldn't tell. I wanted my name to imply permission.
I'd say that's very thoughtful. Before you possess it, do they hear a knock knock?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it just happens.
Interesting.
I've heard. I'm sorry, you were saying?
What happens to the person after you're done?
That depends on how long I'm in there for.
Oh.
I try not to overstay my welcome. I think that's the nicest way I can put it. It can be dangerous.
It sounds pretty dangerous, but I think all of our powers can be pretty dangerous at some point. Right?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, I feel very fortunate that I'm on Combio's team for that exact reason.
Combio's team. Very nice.
That makes sense.
What's it been like practicing with him?
Well, it's only been a week, but a lot of philosophy, a lot of psychology, a lot of discussion of the responsibility of our power, and he's had us studying a lot of books, been to a library quite a few times. It's interesting. I like to read, so it's a good fit for me so far.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. How's Pantheon? I hear she died. Kind of.
Kind of is right.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's surprising how much someone who's supposedly dead can force you to run, do push-ups, and other various physical activities.
Well, you're a relatively physical team. It makes sense. You're being trained by one of the greatest heroes who ever lived. Or so most people believe.
That's what they keep telling us as well.
Seems like everyone is in a hurry to tell everyone else who they are. It's dumb. I like TV.
Yeah. Where I'm from, we don't watch much of it. I mean, we watch some of it, but we generally try to limit our intake. It's bad for the eyes and for the body if you just sit all day. Not that you're doing anything wrong.
She just blinks at you.
Do people drink at parties? Is that what you're supposed to do?
I mean, if you like.
Yeah, I generally do, but I'm with strangers, so I probably won't.
You do hear this kind of chanting in the background.
Oh, God.
And you just hear like, chug, 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 chug. And you see, again, Ivy has a cup in each hand, and he's just... and then he puts all four arms down, clenching his fist, going... practically foaming at the mouth with beer foam. You see... and you see Helix standing next to him.
He's here.
Helix is again not wearing like that much different than what you've seen him wear before. Instead of his like black V-neck today, he's wearing a black collared shirt. The sleeves are kind of partially rolled up, but not really buttoned. They're just sort of left to where they're going to be. Not tucked in or anything. It's very, very casual. His hair is combed a little bit, but he just kind of has wild hair in general. And he's just surrounded by other people, including Menagerie. And Menagerie claps him on the back and goes, "What about you, Heel? We got to get something in there. Got to loosen up a little bit." He goes, you hear him say, "Are you guys listening into this conversation?"
Yeah.
Mhm.
Helix goes, I'm good. I've had enough." He goes, "Oh, come on. You all want to see how much Helix can take, don't you?" And you hear a bunch of people like, "Yeah." And you see Ivy kind of stands between the two of them, and he's like, "He said no, man. It's cool. Chill."
Yes.
And
King! Oh, he's the best, even though he has a gross power.
Helix is like, it's cool. Let's set up for another game. All right, I'll be back in a little bit. His attention kind of wanders, and he walks off to a different room.
You follow the white rabbit?
Baby, are you gonna apologize to him?
What,
It's
do
been
I
a
have to-
week.
I have to apologize? Well, I just said the truth. I didn't say anything that mean. I've said meaner stuff to other people.
And you should probably also apologize to them.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. I'll go speak to him, I guess. And she very awkwardly gets up off the couch and is like trudging after him. It's a very awkward gait. I don't know how else to describe it.
You see, well, you hear knock knock go, "I'll hold down the fort here."
Yeah, I'm gonna go follow her just to make sure she doesn't dig herself a deeper hole. I'll see you in a few. Knock knock.
In the brief period that you are walking through, you have to kind of shoo off a couple of people who try to talk to you. You do kind of immediately get swamped. You notice all three of you are there's a lot of attention on you. But as you kind of politely make your or not politely, I don't know how you do, but you
Not politely.
yeah, you just kind of shove your way past. And during that din, for a brief moment, bang bang, before Haramon catches up to you, you hear very clearly, like a tingle in the back of your mind, "Bailey."
Is that a echo that I hear?
It
In the
didn't
back of my head?
sound like her voice.
Okay.
And it
I'm
didn't-
gonna keep on walking.
And it didn't feel like it was in your ear, necessarily.
I'm gonna look around and see if there's anyone who's obviously projecting that they're the ones talking to me.
Yeah, go ahead and I'm gonna say without a roll,
Mhm.
you don't see, everyone is sort of occupied in their own business, but go ahead and make an intelligence roll.
Oh hell yeah! 2 out of 1.
2 out of
Yeah.
1. With 2 out of 1, you look over and you do see Echo and Porter are here, and they're like dancing.
Oh.
But
Sweet baby.
Echo is just sort of standing there with her thumbs in her pockets, just sort of shaking her head, while Porter is like
Oh,
Shuffling.
he's just going.
I love that for them.
But she looks occupied. She actually, I think she meets your eye and she gives you this look like, "Save me." Like, but it's, you don't think it was her.
Has Haramon caught up to me?
Yes, at this point, Haramon catches up, and you guys are just at the threshold of the room where it looks like Helix walked into.
Silhouette, are you there too?
I'd like to think that Silhouette actually veered off to grab a drink and then tries to meet up with you guys, like as you're walking over to heal it.
Silhouette, you veer off to the table where there are drinks being served in this room. And you see this table is next to this wide window. And the window leads out to what looks like this private little tree grove outside. Like just out kind of past the backyard. It's similar to the training forest that is on campus. It looks like it wasn't native to this area. It looks like someone maybe with plant-based abilities, or maybe just with some sort of futuristic agriculture, built this very small little patch of woods here as an accent to the backyard of this home. And as you go over to grab a drink, you're looking out at this view, and there's this moment where your heart just kind of stops because you see a shadow figure dart past the window.
Okay.
Could have been an animal, could have been something. I'm gonna have you go ahead and make an intelligence check for me.
Oh Lord.
Sorry, I didn't have my dice out. I came unprepared.
You're not a real Boy Scout.
1 out of 3.
1 out of 3. Okay. You see enough through the panic. You see enough to see that this is not like an animal shape. It was pretty close to the window. It was human shaped, but you didn't really make out any features. It freaked you out, I would say, pretty good.
Are there lights out?
Outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some lights, but the farther it goes out into the forest, which is the kind of fake forest, which is maybe like 100 feet out, it gets darker, and you just see kind of a darkened tree line.
Okay. Silhouette grabs a drink. She hasn't taken a sip yet.
Mm-hmm.
But she kind of just opens the sliding glass door, and it's a sliding glass door, right?
The sliding glass door is on the other side that leads out to the pool.
Okay, so it's just a big one.
So that's like here. What you saw was like here.
Okay.
But you would go out. You could go out that way and go around to that side of the house if you want.
Okay. Are there other people in that area, or was it just the thing?
There's nobody over there. There are people who are hanging out outside in the pool area. But are you going out there to go look?
Yeah, I'm gonna say she goes like not near like not far into the forest, but like a few walks out just to like be like, hello, just to see like if anyone was out there.
You look around, and there's this brief moment where you think you see movement in the tree line. You hear distinctly, not in your ears, like in the back of your mind, Joe. You look at the shadow that seems to be darting into the tree line. It stops for a moment and it looks at you. And you see a darkened outline of yourself. It almost looks like your own shadow.
No.
You see it shimmers. It flickers for a second like it's glitching out and then darts into the tree line.
Oh, God. So Joe just takes the drink and pours it out into like onto the ground. And then she walks back in and immediately tries to find her group.
Okay. So by this time, what have you guys done in that meantime? That's like a minute or two.
Did you just hear something in the back of your head? Like your real name, not your superhero name, being whispered?
I got a good point.
No.
Well, I did, and it was an echo. That's for sure. I don't have a good feeling about this. Should we find Silhouette?
Maybe, if you're really worried about it.
It might just be my imagination. I'm nervous. It could be anything. Okay, let's just keep going.
I've come across animals that can mimic human speech before, but we're not in a place where animals are.
And animals, I don't
aside
think,
from
like,
pets.
They don't know my name, my real
Yeah.
name, and they can't speak into the back of my head. Okay. Maybe I do need a drink. Is that enough time for Silhouette to
Yes.
come
At
up?
this
Okay.
point,
Perfect.
Silhouette catches up.
Okay, so Silhouette's typically very agile, but she's in a rush as she's like kind of skating down the hallway, and she kind of like loses balance for a second and just like grabs onto both their shoulders to regain balance. She's like, hey guys, so I had a little bit of a weird experience. I don't think it was alcohol because I didn't drink any alcohol, but I heard like this voice in the back of my head, and
Wait, you heard a voice in the back of your head too?
oh
Did it say your real name?
yes, but then I looked outside and there was this shadowed figure, but it was me, and again I haven't had anything to drink yet, and it looked just like me, and it was like outside, like by that forest over there, and I feel uneasy.
Maybe that's what's up with Helix. Maybe he heard it too.
Huh.
Might be worth the ask.
Yeah. Should we ask him? And maybe, as much as I am loath to communicate with this man, talk to Mr. Menagerie about it.
Let's do one thing at a time.
I agree with Haramone.
So Helix?
Yes.
Okay. Where have we found him? Or,
Helix?
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
So you continue to follow through to the room where you saw him go. And you walk into, I'm going to say that this is a kitchen area.
Nice.
You go in here and there are some people just sort of hanging out. There are people who are mixing new drinks, or just kind of hanging around the sort of kitchen island counter. And you're looking around, but Helix isn't here. And there's no like stairway into the upper level or anything. There is another sliding glass door here, though, that leads outward. And you can see kind of the pool area, but from like kind of from the side. It's the same view as the other one. You're looking out the same, like from the same wall, if that makes sense. You're just farther down now.
BB will address the people in the room. Did y'all see Helix?
Yeah, I'm going to say, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to roll a dice to determine who's here.
Leaving it up to chance. This is a game where we roll dice.
Who knows who we will interact with next?
Okay.
Not even he.
So you ask, you're asking around, and you see that there is a young lady standing, actually sitting up on a stool by the kitchen island. You see she's got a laptop open, and she's typing something. There are a couple of other people around who are watching what she's doing. You see she's maybe 21, 22, round, kind of chubby face, dark skin, very curly hair, kind of shaved on one side, but like comes down on the other side. Big round glasses that she wears, like perfect circle glasses. She also has kind of a 1980s style, but maybe a little less like 80s karate movie and more like
80s hacker movie.
Yeah. I think Silhouette would know who this is, because I think you would be more aware of who like the techie people are around here, and you know that this is Wi-Fi.
Yes.
And she looks up from what she's doing. She looks at you guys and she goes, "You're looking for Helix? I just saw him go outside. He looked kind of freaked out."
Yeah.
I mean, as freaked out as he ever looks.
Sure. Yeah.
Thanks. We appreciate it. Do we just keep walking, or Silhouette, did you want to talk to her at all?
I probably just like, and then walk
Give
out.
the acknowledgement nod.
Yeah.
Game recognized game.
Yeah.
So you guys, do you go out this door?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
You guys rush outside just in time to see. You're like looking around. Are you? Well, I don't know. I mean, which direction you guys look? You're just looking around in general.
Looking for that boy.
Okay.
In any direction.
So you look to your right over to the pool area. You see Monarch sees you and just like gives you this big smile and wave, and she gets up and looks like she's about to run over to try and talk to you guys. And as she's approaching, you can see Helix running around the corner to the other side of the house. He's like fully like sprinting around the other side of the house, and he disappears off to the other side, the side where Silhouette saw the little forest shadow thing happen. He turns that corner and he's out of sight. And as you see this happen, for a moment, Haramon, you see this after image. It almost looks like the shadow trailing from behind him, made by the lights that are outside, that are hung up around. And that shadow seems to come alive for a moment. And you look, you see the head turns toward you. You see a dark image of your own face. You see the mouth distort and glitch just for a moment, not moving like a person's would, just... And you hear this staticky Selena in the back of your mind, and then it's gone. And Helix is gone too.
Take off after Helix. But while I'm running, can I... See, the thing about illusions is that it's hard to determine if there is one. Like, because we just did the thing with Prestige, is there any way that I could try to figure that out?
Go ahead and make a willpower check.
Okay.
While we're doing that, can we discern that it's not Teatro? Like, we haven't locked eyes on him yet, but the shadows that are being described.
Everything we've seen Teatro do, he has had to like make a little thing in a shadow, and then it becomes alive. So
there are similarities, but yeah, you raise a fine point. I will say, however, Teatro, you have not seen him anywhere at this party so far.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't he say he was gonna be there?
He did.
why is my willpower so good if I just fail every willpower check? It's a fat 0.
No.
Yeah, you really can't tell. It's real hard to gauge.
I was gonna say Silhouette skates after him real fast, right around the corner.
You guys book it past Monarch, who's running up to you. Hello. Oh, all right, we'll catch up later then. And you guys are running around the corner, and you turn that corner, and you see that little patch of forest. At this point, you see 3 shimmering shadow-like images They're just standing at the edge of the tree line.
Uh,
They're just standing there, just gently, just sort of shimmering. They look like outlines of the three of you, outlined in shadow, and they just flicker and then dart back into the forest.
Oh no!
Do we see Helix anywhere? Any glimpse of him running into the forest?
You
or
see
anything?
rustling in the trees, and it's gone. You think he's quick.
Helix?
It seems like he's already there. You call out, but it's a little... Well, I said it was 100 feet, so I would say beyond that shadow, those three shadows, you can kind of see his form, like just clearing the tree line. Do you call out really loudly?
Yeah, but he's probably rustling around and stuff in the woods, so he might not hear.
I'm going. Taking the caftan off, keeping everything on. Girding the loins of my skirt thing for mobility. And you can see now that, like, in her core body and, like her legs and stuff, like, she has a lot of scars. Some of them are bite marks, some of them are scratch marks, you know, or what could be scratch marks. Also with the one that's on her face. And she's just going into the trees, up and over, try to catch him.
We'll follow.
oh,
Okay.
shoot. If this is a forest,
What, you can't skate through a forest?
Silhouette has to fucking change her shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unfortunate.
so I guess I changed my shoes.
So you're like, do you guys wait for that to happen, or are you slightly behind?
I'm slightly behind. I tell him to go ahead of me.
Okay. So you guys dart into the tree line, and you're running, and you can hear, you're getting closer. You hear the sounds of a struggle, and you continue running for like a few minutes. It's a good, like 3 to 5 minutes before you come upon this not quite clearing. These are very thin trees. You can see what's going on. You see it before you get there. You see Helix engaged with this singular, strange, flickering shadow that seems to be a mirror of him. And then it becomes kind of amorphous. Its head snaps to look at you. And as it does this, you see Helix is just like down low. His face is pure focus. He takes his elbows kind of up and back, and then he flips himself like a corkscrew, and you see he brings his foot down like an axe, and his heel just carves through this thing, and you see it leaves this steaming imprint of just that just sort of shimmies around like smoke and then coils in on the wound. Its attention flickers back to him as it divides into 3.
What?
None of them are now taking that mirrored shape anymore. They're all these amorphous, weird, flickering shadows, and they're all just sort of standing in place, rocking back and forth on their heels, looking between all of you. And then one of them lashes out toward Helix. He flips backward and catches it in the jaw, like in the chin, with his foot as he flips back, lands back on his feet, and then just starts punching. He looks back at you, and he nods.
I'll pull my finger guns out and like shoot. I want to kind of shoot like a test round into their like waist, not anything that's vital, because we don't know what this is, and I don't want to hurt people, real people. So would it roll?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh. Three out of 4 successes.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I got a 2. I'm bad at math. I think it was 3 out of 4.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay. That's the D12, right?
Yeah, so you roll the D12, and then the D12 will determine how many D6s you roll as well.
Okay. 12.
12, okay.
Nice.
That is a critical hit that exposes a weakness.
Ooh.
Nice.
A D12 that means 2 D6s. So you would roll 2 D6 and add 12 to the damage.
Okay. 19 overall.
19
Oh,
overall.
yeah.
But you were targeting specifically the hip, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So you bring your gun finger up.
Bang.
The energy rockets out of your fingertips and just illuminates this thing in bright light. And as it does it, you see the steaming, semi-translucent figure as it hits light. And it almost seems to make it sort of disappear. As you blow a hole through this thing's hip, you see that it is just a hollow space inside. But as you do this, it just breaks apart and dissolves into steam. And it's gone.
That was easier than I thought.
The one that's engaged with Helix is still, it doesn't seem to be blocking blows so much as just moving out of the way. And by moving, I mean, again, glitching. I keep using that word, but it's the best descriptor I can use because it seems like it just sort of flickers out of the way. Its torso will move out of sync with its legs to move out of the way of a punch. But Helix is on this thing. He's just like doing these insane flips and feats of what you would think if you didn't know better were superhuman feats of agility that this man is doing. And he finally lands a punch straight into this thing's forehead as he sees what you have done out of the corner of his eye. He punches directly through its head and its form seems to melt into steam down its body and it disappears. He turns back. The last two, I'm not actually doing initiative here, I'm just having actions happen because this is a very specific encounter. Is there anything now? This is the point at which Silhouette catches up. You catch up just in time to see. You didn't see BB's one, but you see Helix punch this thing, and it just evaporates.
Okay. I see him punch it, and it evaporates.
Mhm.
I kind of like stagger behind, and I'm like, BB, what's going on?
What? I shot one in the hip and it got illuminated and then disappeared, and then Helix punched one in the head and now it's gone. So I think they're pretty easy to kill.
Oh, okay. Great.
There's one remaining on the board, by the way. There's one remaining, and it's just standing there in the center of the clearing, just flickering. It has these long, almost blade-like fingers.
Ooh.
As it just stands there, just sort of shaking its head back and forth, looking directly at you guys, and you see that its form is starting to shift. It looks like it's maybe trying to split into two.
What are we doing with this one, y'all?
I'll throw my knife from my point in the trees.
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
That's 3.
3, okay. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Oh gosh, how many is that? 1?
Yes. Well, you have melee weaponry specialty. So, because it's a specialty, you are able to do this the D12 way. So you can roll the damage on a D12.
Okay.
So this, I'm gonna say that when you take a D12 in a weapon thing or a martial art thing, it's not D12 and then determining D6s. I think it's D12 plus your relevant modifier.
So that's 13.
13. Okay. So is there a specific point that you're aiming for?
Seeing Helix go for the head, I'll go for the head.
Okay. So as this thing is seemingly trying to split into two, you see these dark tendrils, almost like gum being stretched apart as it stretches into two separate shadowy forms. You take your knife and you throw it and you sever it almost at an angle, severing these strange tendrils downward as it making absolutely no sound. It just peels apart and then evaporates in two separate pieces, leaving you in this quiet clearing alone. Helix steps up to where it had been standing. He starts looking around.
I'll hop down and walk over to retrieve my knife,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll walk back up to him, and I'll say, "So what's a guy like you doing in a creepy forest like this?"
I was going out to get some air, and I saw something. It seemed like someone lurking outside around the corner. But it moved too fast, inhumanly fast. It felt wrong somehow, and I needed to chase it.
You hear anything as well?
No.
Or
Did you?
Yeah.
yeah, me and Silhouette. In our heads, not through our ears.
Yeah, I mean, I also saw something similar when I walked outside for a second, or when I was grabbing a drink, sorry. And then I walked outside, and I saw myself. But
Yourself.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like it was like a shadow. I don't know.
The figure I saw, I just thought it was too far away, too dark. I just thought it was, I don't know what I thought. It didn't look like me. It didn't look like any of you.
As long as we're all on the same page that we just fought shadow people at this party, I mean, I guess we'll figure it out.
He looks down at the imprints in the grass, of which there are some, very light displacement of grass. He goes, this wasn't a psychic incursion. These things were here.
Do these imprints lead anywhere other than the way we came?
And there's no, residue or any type of remnant of them. They just evaporated into smoke, kind of?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Looking at the prints, when you say do they lead anywhere, you mean like where they could be coming from, not where they went, because they didn't go anywhere because you beat them here. You mean like you can trace the steps back through the way that you came, if you cared to do that.
Yeah, on the way out, and then if they lead anywhere else, I'll go tracking.
Okay, you'll have to leave the group to continue tracking.
Yeah,
and
when
it does
we
just
leave,
back.
I'll go ahead, but
okay.
Do they look like feet or shoes?
They're not like ridged like the bottom of a shoe would be, and they're barely footprints. I think you really are the only one with a good chance of just passively seeing them. You know, I think the rest of you'd have to really try hard to track them, because it is just a light, smooth, vaguely foot-shaped, but a little too angular displacement of the grasses here. He looks to you and he goes, do you have any idea what this could be?
No, honestly, shit just keeps getting weirder and weirder at this goddamn school, so I guess this is to be expected.
Yeah, hell of a first party, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only other person I could think of is Teatro, but
has anybody seen him?
I haven't.
I mean, I didn't think that he could do that, you know. I don't know.
Should we go ask members of Prestige's team if he's here?
Yeah, that's a start. We don't want to cause a panic. We should probably approach this lightly.
So we head back to the party area.
Mm-hmm.
So you're tracing these footsteps, and they do lead back. But that's it. They just lead back to where you came, at least to the edge of the forest. But
there's nothing past that.
Well, the thing about that is that's something we're probably going to have to handle next time. The closer that you get to the edge of this forest, you see Helix looks up and he starts sniffing. Do you smell that? And then you smell it as well. Smoke.
Oh,
You hear
God.
screams. And as you break the tree line, you see a plume of smoke 100 feet off. And as you breach the tree line, back out into this courtyard, looking over at the pool area, and then to the house is completely up in flames. You see the students are all working to do something about this. You see Monarch is taking these big buckets of water and flying up and throwing them onto the house. You see another student who you haven't seen before is just rushing around the house, making this sort of whirlwind with his super speed. It seems to be sort of under control. You don't see anyone in immediate danger, and at the moment, it looks like most everyone is outside that was accounted for. And you look and you're scanning and you don't see Teatro. Does anyone care to count the exact number at the moment, or are you more concerned about the fire itself?
Number of what?
Of students who are here. If you're looking for anyone who's missing.
I think Hermione knows that she doesn't have anything that could really help power-wise. So I think she is going to, before they all get trampled, if there are any, keep trying to track these tracks.
BP, I think, is looking for Dr. Guest, but we can wrap that up after.
Okay. You look around and you don't see him. You just see the students. You see the fire is starting to dull. It looks like the students, for the most part, have it under control. And as you guys approach, you keep your head down, looking at the tracks, trying to find them. They do seem to stop at the tree line. But if you are going to move closer to the house to try and pick up the trail again, we'll handle that next time. But for the time being, you watch these 20-odd students looking at this blazing pyre of a house. You hear sirens in the distance getting closer. And as your thoughts reach out toward the idea of Dr. Guest and everything that you've learned so far, looking around for that familiar visage, you don't see him, but you feel that eerie sensation, that feeling that something is watching you. You don't know if it's real or just an after image of a strange memory of an uncomfortable feeling that you felt every time you've seen this man. And as the fire flickers to a more dull ember, the sirens get louder. You can see the firefighting trucks and vehicles getting closer, and the students sort of gathering around, comforting each other outside. That is where we're going to pick up next time.
Man, I fucking told Backtrack it was supposed to be chill. It's not supposed to cause any trouble. Damn it.
That little so.
Well, on that very happy note, thank you everyone for joining us. Hope you enjoyed. And we'll see you next time to see where this story goes. Have a good week, everybody. Bye.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye.